Hi guys, welcome back. Patrick Muranyi, sales manager here at Zimbrick Mercedes-Benz. Reaching out to you guys today over our social media accounts to discuss some leasing, some benefits of leasing, and why almost half of our customers at Mercedes-Benz choose to do so. It is a different form of finance a lot of people are not familiar with. So let's dive in and take a look and see how we get there. So what are some reasons that some of our clients decide to lease a car? Obviously, a big factor would be if you're like me, technology is changing quickly. You might want to be into something brand new every 3 years. Leasing gives them that option because you're going to be able to switch in and out of the car, whether that be a sedan, going into a convertible or a cabriolet, or into an SUV. You can do so every 3 years, and you don't have to worry about your negative equity because one of your options at the end of that lease term is to simply turn that car in and release or buy another Mercedes-Benz with no turn-in fees whatsoever. Okay, another benefit of leasing is getting into a car of, say, $52,800 for little to no money due at signing to get to a very, very cheap monthly payment of $458 here after tax. Now, if I tried to get to that same payment while doing a traditional finance at, say, 60 months, I will be looking at putting almost half the value of that car down to get close to that $500 payment, which seems to kind of be everybody's goal nowadays, is to get to around that 500 bucks. Now, leasing will be available on all of our 2019 models and some remaining 2018s that I do have in stock. That's going to be one of the examples that I'm going to use for you today is actually one of my 2018 C300s. Obviously, with more aged units, we can discount those cars a little bit more heavily as we get better incentives from Mercedes, which lead to some very attractive lease payments for you guys. So I got a lease quote in front of me here that I'm going to walk you guys through, run through just some major vocab things that you guys will hear when discussing a lease and what factors are important to you when you are looking at what your lease payment may be and what budget you can afford. So first and foremost, we have to select a car. So what I've chose for this is a 2018 C300 4MATIC. Okay, so that is our small size sedan vehicle here, one of our top sellers for Mercedes-Benz. MSRP on this car is $52,800. Okay, so that's the first thing that's important is the MSRP of your vehicle because that is going to start where our payments are going to come from is that MSRP. Second thing is going to be what they refer to as the residual value. Okay, your residual value is what you can purchase your vehicle for at the end of your term, whether that be 24 months or in this case, I'm using the traditional 36, which is what you'll see on most of the ads. Now, your residual percentage changes depending on how many miles you drive. In this case, I'm saying I'm a 7,500 mile per year driver, as I am myself, which would give me a 55% residual. That means at the end of my term, Mercedes-Benz is saying my car will be worth 55% at the end of 3 years, assuming I've only driven 7,500 miles per year. In this case, that would mean my car is worth $29,040 at the end of my lease term. Okay? The next thing that goes into that is your money factor. Money factor, think of an interest rate, but it's going to be your interest rate plus a little bit of a rental charge. In this case, that number is 0.00028. Now, what the heck does that mean? If we take that number and we multiply that by a factor of 2,400, that's going to give you an effective interest rate. In this case, that would be a 0.78% interest. Okay, but remember, it does include that little rental charge in there too. So very, very aggressive financing on the leases as well. So we're not paying a ton to do that. In this case, for this example, I'm selling you guys the car for $44,900. In one of Nick's other videos about our loaner program, we have Sean come in and mention why he leased one of those loaner vehicles. Right there, that discount is a huge reason why. And you'll see that by the time we get to the end of our lease payments here. Okay, so you have your MSRP, you have what I'm going to sell you the car for, and then we have our residual and our money factor. So how does that equate into what a lease payment's going to be? You have your MSRP times the percentage, 55%, means my car is going to be worth $29,000 at the end. So I have that gap. Now what you are going to pay is the gap between what I'm going to sell it to you for at $44,900 down to that residual at $29,000. That number times the money factor is what's going to equal our monthly payments. Now, how can we change those monies that are due each month? One thing would be a cash cap reduction. In many of our ads, you guys are going to see cash cap reductions of $3,400, sometimes $4,500 on the bottom in that little disclosure, right, of how much is due at signing. A cash cap reduction is just an amount of money that you're going to give up front to reduce that monthly payment. In my example here, I'm using a cap cash reduction of $2,000. Now, per $1,000 on a lease, you're going to reduce your payment about 30 bucks. I'm taking that 1,000 and dividing it by your term of 36 months equals about $30 that you'll reduce that payment. So in this case, for this lease with the $2,000 cap reduction and then paying up front just your first month's payment and then your DMV fees would equal a total of $2,770.33 due at signing, would equate to a monthly payment of $458 for your brand new Mercedes-Benz. Doesn't that sound like a pretty good payment on a $50,000 Mercedes-Benz? It's a lot cheaper than you probably thought. So at the end of your term, what are your options with your lease? You have 3 different options. One, of course, is to buy your own vehicle that you've been driving. That is what that residual value is. That $29,040 is your purchase option at the end of your lease. You could either pay cash, we could finance that. You can't release that, but we can finance that for any term that you would like at the end of your term as well. So option 1, buy my car that I'm still loving. Option 2 would be to turn in your current car and lease or buy another new Mercedes-Benz or certified pre-owned Mercedes-Benz from us here at Zimbrick Mercedes. Your third option is to completely turn in the keys and walk away from that lease. If you do walk away from that lease, they will charge you what they call a disposition fee, which is charged by every single leasing company that is out there. And that's basically just a turn-in fee for them to come do an inspection on the vehicle and then take that car off to auction or offer to other dealers for their lots. Now, that disposition fee in this case would be one more payment at $458 to turn in that vehicle. Come down and see us. We have plenty to drive, plenty of great deals just like this. We'd be happy to get you in a new Benz. Thanks.